If you could have a super fight against anybody in Jiu-Jitsu, whether they're living or dead, who would it be?
Oh man, you know what? Like all my life, I was a competitor. All my life, you go to competition, and I never could choose any opponent. You know, I just had the brackets and I was fighting whoever. You know, I remember on the World Championships when I was competing like regularly, there were so many tough guys on my weight class that, you know, you were like getting the names and you say, you know what, man, doesn't matter because everybody's tough. You know, they're gonna be bad, and then from the bad to worse. So you know, whoever comes, you know, you go one fight after the other. So I never had too much the opportunity of, you know, choosing who I was supposed to fight. I was competed with whoever it was. MMA also my fights. I mean, they asked my purse. I said I want to make these, and you know, and I want to, you know, I'm fighting on that weight division, and they come with somebody, and I didn't even know who until like a couple months ago. You know, so I never had a chance of choosing that. So I really never liked of this thing of being challenging people. You know, I think it's kind of, you know, it's kind of rude in a way, because if all the guys are fighting, he deserves respect. And I was never really into that. You know, I mean, if somebody shows up here in my school, you know, talking crap, you know, I can be the nicest guy, and if somebody comes here, I don't care who it is. You know, there's gonna be a fight, there's gonna be a match, whatever. You know. But I'm not gonna be the one that's gonna be pushing that. I don't think it's not me, you know. But there's so many cool super fights that can happen, you know. But I think it should be somebody relevant, you know. Somebody. I mean, I made, you know, I was alright on the sport. I made a little history in the sport, you know. Somebody that has a name, and maybe a guy like my age, you know, like you know, have a really good, successful background in Jiu-Jitsu. You know, that should be cool, you know. Not a guy that, you know, not a internet superstar, or not like somebody who runs his mouth a lot. You know, I mean, what's the point? You know what I mean? Mouth and internet doesn't mean anything. Look at the curriculum. If you see a good curriculum against a good curriculum, good history, that's a super fight that makes sense. You know, not talking.
What is your opinion on Judo and its relationship to Jiu-Jitsu?
Judo and Jiu-Jitsu. Let me tell you first that I began training Judo when I was young, before Jiu-Jitsu. And I really think they're kind of the same sports, but with different roles. You know, actually Judo is a part of Jiu-Jitsu. Judo was created by Draculino to be a little softer part of Jiu-Jitsu. And Draculino took away a lot of things that I consider dangerous, like, you know, neck cranks, foot locks, and you know, a bunch of other stuff. And but it's basically like one branch of Jiu-Jitsu. And you know, Judo with the time was more developed on the stand-up part. I really think that they complement each other really well. I'm a big fan of Judo. I always trained Judo even before and after Jiu-Jitsu, and it helped me a bunch on my matches. And I have like really decent takedowns, you know, takedown defense. And I think like for the Jiu-Jitsu guy, having like a good Judo training applied for Jiu-Jitsu is really important. And the same on the other way. I mean, any judoka who train Jiu-Jitsu is gonna have like a more open-minded on the ground. So I really think they complement each other really well.
What are you working on in your own training at this point?
Actually, like one of the ways that I learn more, besides learning for my teachers, Master Carlos, Hanzo, and my training partners for Gracie Baja, is actually for my students. I have a lot of students that have created a lot of good things, and they make the things that I taught them to be even better. So we learn every day with that. But one thing that I really do to me to make my game better is that I all the time what I try to do is that I try to do what I do good to one side, I'll try to do good to the other side. And this is one of the most difficult things in Jiu-Jitsu, guys. A lot of people think that they can do exactly on the timing and the perfection that they do to the right side or to the left side. Is not true. And if you can do good for both sides, then way more chances for you to be successful in anything. Going to both sides is my goal now. And a good example that I have is like Rickson Gracie. Rickson Gracie is one guy, he does everything perfect to both sides. So that's why he's the legend that he is. He taps everybody out because, you know, you get overwhelmed by the quantity of attacks and the ability he has to both sides. So that's what I do.